Hello everyone, welcome to our audiobook channel. If you enjoy this story or want to hear more exciting content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Your feedback helps us improve and bring even more captivating stories. Enjoy listening. Chapter 1 Gossery. Evolution Stages. #Night, each stage divided into 3 levels. 1 Private Stage. 2 Specialist Stage. 3 Corporal. 4 Sergeant Stage. 5 Master Sergeant Stage. 6 Lieutenant Stage. 7 Captain Stage. 8 Major Stage. 9 Colonel Stage. 10 Brigadier Stage. 11 General Stage. 12 Marshal Stage. #Lord. #Duke. Strain. Normally referred to higher stage ancestors' bloodline. Class 1 strain is referred to private stage is the lowest bloodline strain while highest is. Chapter 2 Silver Sparrow. Ashlyn, just sleep, I said to the silver-colored sparrow who is gazing outside the window standing on the action figure Elizabeth Collins, which looked like a girl with eagle wings behind her back and crown of white eagle feathers on her head. She looks really valiant. Tomorrow is an important day for me and Ashlyn. Tomorrow is the day when I and Ashlyn will perform the bonding ceremony. Ashlyn is the mutated gray spark sparrow breed. This breed of a sparrow usually gray colored with light brown color on their wings, and there is always fire spark on their wings. That is why their breed is known as gray spark sparrow. They are also one of the most common monster species in the world. But Ashlyn is born mutated. Her whole body is shiny silver and she had a silver-colored fire which she can throw from her mouth at her will. From the moment she was born, she was different from all her siblings, her nature completely different from silver spark sparrows who are known for their mild temperament and friendliness. She is aggressive and indifferent, all her siblings become completely afraid even to play with her. She was with me from the day she was born. She is 5 months old now and nearly a palm-sized chubby sparrow. All the silver spark sparrows are about palm size when they are at private stage, only if they evolve to the specialist stage then sparrow's size would change. Feeling bored or maybe sleepy, she flies and landed on my shoulder, then she walks into blanket and sleeps on my chest snuggling into the blanket. She never slept in on her own bed which is on the table. I petted her shiny silver-colored fur as she slept contently on my chest. She is cute chubby sparrow who acted arrogantly all day, never let anyone pet her except for family and had her own taste on the food. Choo-choo, I wake up by the sound of Ashlyn's beak touching my face. I opened me to see her tiny self standing in front of my face proudly with a haughty face. Good morning to you too, Ashlyn, I said as I woke up. I petted her lovingly. She started to rub her face against my hand gently. Sometimes later, as if knowing it is enough petting, she moved away from my hand and went back to her arrogant self. I freshen up, take bath and came back to my bedroom, Ashlyn still in her usual place by the window watching the lake from it. I remove Ashlyn's brush and called her, Ashlyn, come. I said, waving brush toward her. Seeing the brush, she readily comes to lap. This is one of her favorite activities in the day. With the brush I massaged and combed her fur as she sighed in content in my lap. Doing this for 10 minutes, I kept the brush back into the table. Ashlyn did not linger long as she flew away towards the kitchen as it was time for her lunch. I also followed behind her for breakfast. On the breakfast table, there already 2 people and 2 big gray spark sparrows, 3 times the size of Ashlyn eating. Ashlyn landed in front of my mother. Choo-choo, you want your dinner, Ashlyn? Mother asked. Ashlyn nodded with her head. Mother petted her lovingly. Today is a special day, so I brought a special treat for you. Hearing word special treat, Ashlyn's eyes sparkled. Mom took out a small package from the kitchen counter and opened it in Ashlyn's bowl. Looking at small red meat pieces, her eyes went round. These meat pieces are the meat of specialist stage monster. Even her parents, who are also at LV.1 and LV.2 specialist stage, could only get to eat once a month. This one packet of meat costs 50 Republic credit. Ashlyn starts to eat with relish. She even spits her ash fire on meat pieces to heat it according to her tastes before eating. In 5 minutes she finished all her meat and laid on her stomach lazily as if she overate. Her face looked like she ate more than she could digest. Really, she ate 3/4 of her size. That's the diet of her parents. Ha ha ha, we all laugh seeing her like this. She didn't even glance at us as we laugh at her. It is her habit. Whenever she finds something tasty, she will overeat her fill and will lay on her stomach lazily. She will be fine in half an hour. I ate the honeyed pancakes. They are really tasty. The mother must bring honey of specialist grade monster. We rarely eat such delicacy as my parents neck deep in the loan. 5 years ago our old town destroyed in monster horde. All our properties got destroyed. Our family barely avoided destruction. By the time horde ran past the town and we got out of safety bunker, there is nothing that could be salvaged. We moved to this town and have to take a loan for necessities and house. My parents work town hospital as both of my parents are LV1 monster doctors. They earn enough monthly to pay any of the loan and run the house frugally as possible. Every one of those who is 16 years has to bond with their monster. As one of the class toppers, I got the offers from government and various organization. They offered me class 7 strain monster, but I rejected them for Ashland. It seems completely idiotic choice to others, and even my parents also objected it, as there is a vast difference between class 2 strain and class 7 strain, but I still chose Ashland. I got the feeling from the bottom of heart that Ashland is the best partner for me. I saw her come out eggs with sticky silver colored fur. She completely different from her siblings. Her eyes were curious and inquisitive. On the first sight I fell in love with her. She was quite slim when she was born, but her special love for food made her a little chubby. It was also due to her love for high-grade food that she broke through at leave 1 of private stage in 2.5 months after her birth. We were quite shocked by her breakthrough. Normally monsters who hadn't had a blood bond or had high-grade strain, they didn't normally make a breakthrough. My parents were so ecstatic. They thought Ashland inherited some strain of powerful ancestor. They paid a high price to check it. But all their hopes are for naught. Ashland didn't have any special strain of some powerful monster. She is just mutated from silver spark sparrow, and her talent also increased a little, which is low level, nearly reaching medium level. She could reach 3rd level of specialist stage, which is higher than common gray spark sparrows, whose limits are a 2nd or 3rd level of specialist stage. I wouldn't part with Ashland even if I could have a chance to get monster with mythical strain. I walk back to my room before leaving for ceremony. I wear my holographic watch, which I forgot to wear earlier. Standing in front of the mirror, I check myself in the mirror. I am wearing a white colored shirt and trousers. For a blood bond ceremony, most of the people wear white. It is not a law to only wear white. You can wear other color, but you will feel awkward only one wearing different color in the sea of white. I am average in looks, with average height, a face which neither handsome nor ugly, with black hair. People say that the only noticeable thing about me my vibrant green eyes. Flap flap, Ashland come flying and landed on my shoulder. It was a favorite spot. Today is the big day for us, Ashland, I said as I patted her silky smooth silver colored fur. My parents already waiting by the door. Ready, Michael? Said mother. I nodded. 2 silver spark sparrows suddenly disappeared inside my parents. You can store your monster inside you. This is an ability you get after you bonded with your monster partner. You will also get the abilities your monster partner has. After bonding with the Ashland, I might get her silver fire ability. That is called monster integration. You will integrate the abilities of your monster partner within yourself. Your lifespan will also increase as you and your partner broke through different grades. Your grade is directly dependent upon your monster's grade. As your monster broke through grades, your grade will also advance with your monster. Chapter 3 Ellen. I walked to the town square with my parents. Many parents could be seen with their children today, as graduating class will bond with their monsters. There are many monsters are there, with people from tricolored butterflies to gem claw cats. All types of the monster were there. Some people could be seen riding on their monster. The monsters are parts of everyday life. Most of the monsters in Class 3 cities are strain 2 like silver spark sparrows. Michael. I heard someone is calling me. I looked to see, it was my friend Ron and his parents which are trailing behind him. He is holding in his hand his light green wolf cub, whose fur looked waving in the air but there was no wind. That monster is known as Wind Wolf, it has class 6 strain, it has the ability to level up to lieutenant level. As Ron came closer, the Wind Wolf which is in his arm hidden further into it. "Nothing to fear, Johnny, I will protect you from her," he said and patted his Wind Wolf. I smiled looking at this. A month ago when Ron brought his Wind Wolf named Johnny to show off, Johnny was quite mischievous and started to tease Ashlyn. At first as Ashlyn didn't even glance at his teasing, but when Johnny started her teasing with his wind gales, getting licensed by it, she breathed her silver fire at him, from which Johnny started yelps in pain. From that moment on Johnny developed little fear for the Ashlyn. Whenever he saw Ashlyn, he hides behind Ron. "Johnny, have you been a good boy?" I said, and patted the wolf monster. He cried happily as I patted him. Chirp chirp. Ashlyn got jealous seeing me patting Johnny. She liked to act arrogant and indifferent, but she gets quite jealous quite easily. "Ashlyn, good to see you too." Ron said he didn't try to pat Ashlyn as he knows she will avoid when I tried to pat her. "How are you feeling?" I asked Ron, both excited and nervous. He replied, "I understand how he is feeling, I am feeling the same emotions." "You are leaving tomorrow, right?" I asked. "Yes, at morning," he said. Every year top 20 students of the batch got an invitation from various organizations and government. They will provide everything to you, your monster partner and suitable mono-refinement engine. You just have to sign a term of the service contract with them. The minimum period is 10 years and maximum 15 years, in that time they can't force you to do very dangerous missions if you don't want. I was second in my batch. They offered me class 7 strain monster but I rejected them. There are 2 reasons for me rejecting them. First, I only wanted Ashlyn to be my monster, and second, 9-year contract was too long for me. Ron accepted the contract from one organization for 11 years of service and he even got Johnny from them. We walked toward the town square, that where the ceremony is held every year. There was already a big crowd there in the town square. There is a big stage and in the center of the stage big black stone tile. It is enlightenment stone. When the ceremony is performed on this stone, there is a negligible chance that it fails. In front of the stage, 200 some chairs are placed. They are for the students who were undergoing the ceremony today. Half of the seats are occupied by students with their monsters. The sitting arrangement is strict, everyone's seats arranged according to their score. My seat is arranged in the center of the first row. Ron is also in the front row as his ranked 8th. I took the seat which my name on it. My left side seat is empty and on my right side is Ellen, topper of this batch. "I didn't believe when I've heard you rejected all offers, but seeing this mutated gray spark sparrow on your shoulder, it is true I guess," she said. I just smiled at her, seeing her blunt nature. Ellen is my good friend and was my best competitor for a top place. For 3 years, we both competing for first place, but a final exam, she beats me in the race of first place. On her shoulder has a palm-size glass spider. This monster is also known as glass spider as it looks, and it is one of the best monsters in class 7 strain. "Looking at glass spider you must have accepted Crystal Knight's offer," I asked. "Many organizations have their signature monsters. Just as Ron's Gale Wolf is mainly used by Hermes merchants and Ellen's glass spider especially used by Crystal Knights. It's not like only these organizations have these monsters, other people also have them, but it's very rare to see them with other people." Yes, they offered good conditions and I accepted it. She said. A small smile could be seen on her face as she said this. She has right to be proud, as Crystal Knights are one of the best organizations in the Republic. "It's a good choice. They gave you a top class 7 strain monster," I said. For a moment even I felt jealous of her, but when Elle thought of little sparrow on my shoulder, I remember why I declined all those offers. "Strain isn't everything, Michael, and you must have heard that rumor, right?" Ellen said. "Yes, strain just shows the map. The actual walking on it have to be done by us, and on there are many roadblocks one have to cross. The rumor she mentioned is that those students got selected from the small towns only get monsters who have low talent, it was difficult for them to walk half the way. The youths from the small towns are only used to fill the numbers and mostly given the position's lowest dregs. Sip. Stella. Ellen shouted when I looked toward it. I find that Ellen's glass spider attacked Ashlyn with her glass strings and bonded her with it. The anger could be seen in her eyes, and suddenly Ashlyn's whole body started to burn with silver fire that melted away those glass string. There was still anger in her eyes as she was preparing for an attack. Ashlyn calms down. If you don't attack, I will ask Mom to give you special treatment, I said. Hearing special treat, she calmed down and flew away to sit on my other shoulder. Michael, I am sorry. Stella really acts unruly sometimes. Ellen apologized. It's okay, it happening everywhere, I said, and looked toward Ron's Gale Wolf, who is fighting Dark Centipede on the ground, both Ron and the youth beside him trying to separate their monsters from the fight. Yes, it happening everywhere, she repeated as she saw the small monsters fighting everywhere. Which training facility are you going? I asked. Crystal Knights had their branches all the important cities in the Republic. Usually, they first send their recruit at the training facility where they send their new recruits. Mayfield, I will spend 1 year there, she said. A tinge of expectation could be seen on her face when she said the city's name. Mayfield is Class 6 city of the Republic, which very close to the Republic's capital. She is halfway in the capital, where most powerful people in the capital reside. What are you going to do? She asked, as she knew that Michael hadn't joined any force or government. With that monster of his, future is looking bleak. Still, he wouldn't be staying in this small town. I am going to the Carol City, I lied. She nodded as if understanding my intentions. Carol City is biggest Class 5 city in the Republic and one of the popular city famous amongst adventurers. I lied to my friends and parents about my destination because the city I picked is one of the most dangerous cities in the Republic. Chapter 4. Three-Eyed Devil Monkey. Soon a boy came with swaggering, on his head was a three-eyed monkey, is laughing and dancing. I was shocked seeing it because of that monster is infamous three-eyed devil monkey. I have never been so jealous of someone else monster than I am now, and I am not the only one feeling envy seeing that monkey. I am not seeing things right, I asked Ellen, seeing Kevin with the monkey. No, you are not. Kevin's father found it in the forest when he was tracking a dangerous monster month ago, she replied. He kept the secret well, even my father come to know this morning, she said, sounding extremely jealous. This monkey worth to jealous. This monster worth to be jealous, not because it has the highest class of strain, which is Class 9, not for his good fighting ability. The most jealous thing about the monkey is that it can evolve to lieutenant rank without any hitch, so, directly making his partner a lieutenant rank fighter without any hard work. Even if Kevin eat and stay home with his three-eyed stone monkey, he will become lieutenant rank in few years without any problem. If anyone would have known Kevin's father found a three-eyed devil monkey a week ago, no, even 3 days, a lot of people would have killed Kevin's father and stole that monkey despite him being a man of government and only second to the mayor in power. Hell, it would have invoked greed from the mayor to stole the three-eyed devil monkey. There is still one question that irked me. Why didn't Kevin's father made a pact with monkey himself? He doesn't have the second monster, right? I asked. She thought for a while before answering my question. He made a pact with his second monster 2 years ago. Not many people know it, she answered. As being mayor's daughter, she is privy of certain things of the town. Did Kevin join any organization? I asked. Yes, he joined the Shadow Rogues yesterday, his uncle also in Shadow Rogues. She said Shadow Rogues is an organization same level with Crystal Knights. Shadow Rogues has a different style than Crystal Knights, they mostly deal with grey missions. I have even heard the rumors that they also do some assassin jobs, but no one dares to say that on their faces. Chi-Chi's that monkey started to tease its neighbor monster. He is scratching their faces, hitting them from behind and running, and no monster could do anything for that because that monkey is damn fast. It irked many youths as monsters started crying. Seeing antics of monster, Kevin even started laughing complacently. That Kevin being way too complacent. Stella, if that monkey comes near you quickly bind him, Ellen said to her monster. Stella nodded her head as if understanding. Wu-Wu-Euron's wind wolf also got hit many times by monkey and started complaining to him. Ron picked up Johnny into his lap and started comforting him. Kevin, keep your monster in check, said the youth whose green vine snake got badly scratched by monkey. Jones, keep babying your monster. If your monster not even going to handle little scratches, how it is going to handle big fights in the future? Kevin mocked him complacently and started laughing again. No one said anything after that, fearing being mocked by Kevin, and what he said also right. If your monster cannot even handle little scratches well, how is it going to handle big fights in the future? Soon that monkey's eyes fell on Stella and started to harass her. Stella tries to do what Ellen said her to do. It hurled her string at the monkey as soon as it grew close, but it was futile. All the string shots were missed, and in return, she got scratched even more. Ellen felt gloomy seeing her monster got hurt and crying in pain. She quickly took her spider in her lap. Ellen wants nothing but beat the shit out of that monkey, but she couldn't do anything except endure. After having his fun, Stella, that monkey, moved to another target to harass. After enjoying hitting and scratching another few monsters, it targeted Ashlyn. First, it danced in front of her for some time, teasing her with it. Ashlyn did not even glance at it. Seeing this, monkey got angry and swiftly hit on the Ashlyn's head. Ashlyn's eyes got dangerously angry. That monkey really hit very hard. Her eyes back to normal once again. She didn't react being hit, just stared at him intently. Being stared by her, monkey got angry and hit Ashlyn again 2 times on the head and the back, but she still didn't react to his provocations. Johnny started laughing, gloating, not at Ashlyn but at the monkey. He remembers when he tried to play with Ashlyn first time, she had scorched him with fire, and that time she was irritated with him, no angry. This stupid monkey really angered her. Michael, is your little bird is dumb? Kevin asked, seeing his 3-eyed devil monkey kept hitting but Michael's monster not even reacting. I looked at Kevin and smiled without saying anything. The smile seemed to irk Kevin, but he didn't say anything. He just wanted Billy to hit that dumb bird so hard that she will faint on the spot, but he can't say that because that would be intentional and frowned upon by all adults here. His father is also watching. Kevin is too much. He could have easily called back his monkey, but he didn't. Ellen said, but I just smiled and didn't reply. That monkey will soon feel pain. And it did happen not long after that. Chi monkey doing teasing dance. Swiftly it moved toward Ashlyn to hit her again, but this time something different happened. As it about hit Ashlyn with his sharp claws, suddenly Ashlyn produced thumb-size ball of fire and threw it on the face of the monkey. Chi monkey cried out as the fire hit it and started to put off the fire with his paws. Ha 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 ha. Everybody started laughing seeing this. That monkey harassed many people's monsters and they were helpless to do anything about it, and seeing it suffering, many people started laughing. Michael, can't you control your low-class monster? Look how it hurt my Billy is, shouted Kevin, and all of a sudden all got quiet. The mayor, who was also waking to the stage, stopped on his track. It is considered a grave insult to call someone's monster low class, especially in this place where more than 90% people had low-class monsters. It is especially bad when Kevin's father was about run for mayor's election. His father faces become so red that if they were alone, his father would have beat the shit out of him. Seeing about silence, Kevin looked around to find everyone is looking at him, and even his father's face looked like he was about to beat him. Looking everyone's faces, he realized what he said and his face became distorted like he had eaten a shit. Michael, I am sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just seeing Billy hurt, I lost my tongue. He said, the damage is done, the apology not going to solve anything. The people are not idiots, they have seen what monkey did to other people monsters when they complained. He rebuked to them and now his monster got hit. He insults the people's monster being low class. They didn't expect this, especially from town's sheriff's son. It's okay, I said. I didn't want to say anything to him, but him being a sheriff's son and sheriff known for his pettiness, I had to say something to forgive him, so that Sheriff won't make things difficult. Don't worry, I'll ask my father to look out for your family, Ellen said, sensing my worries. I relaxed after hearing her. Chapter 5 Bonding Ceremony. Today is the auspicious day. Today our children going form a bond with their monster that will last, said, and started the bonding ceremony. There are about 200 students here. The call for the ceremony is last to first order. The first youth to go on the stage is a girl with her gemcat. The monster and the human stand on the stone, a painful expression come across them, and drop of blood come from their bodies and merge together, and it again separated in two and merge into the heart of monster and hum. The monster suddenly turns into energy and entered the body of the human. The whole ceremony finished within a few minutes. The girl felt disoriented at first, then controlled herself well. The mayor handed her a small glass jewelry box size of a fist. Inside that box is fingernail-size black crystal. In its surface thousands of white dots could be seen. The thing is given by mayor to youth is called refinement mold. It is very important to the practice. The refinement mold used to create refinement engine which is constructed inside our heart. It is used to refine mana in our body. The body of monster and human has limited space to store the mana. The purer the mana monster has, the more easily it will advance and evolve. For the human's pure mana just as important, it can easily outlast those are at the same level or those above their level. Have the Crystal Knights sends you refinement engine. I asked organization have them special blueprint which suits the monsters they have. This is also one of the reasons organization have their special monster, their monsters best suited for their special refinement engine. No, I didn't accept pre-constructed engine. I have requested a blueprint. I will construct it myself. She said. I was startled hearing this. Almost every student here accepted by organizations accepted pre-constructed engine. But she requested blueprint. Her dreams were really big. The pre-constructed engine can only be made by lieutenant stage or above powerhouse. It's still in marble size, but it's inside. You can see the engine inside it. They are really expensive because they were created by lieutenant grade powerhouse. If my parents sold their everything including their clothes only, then they will come closer to half a price of pre-constructed refinement engine. Those who can't afford pre-constructed engine had to construct it with refining mold. There are grades of refinement engine blueprint. They are A, B, C, D, while A being highest and D being lowest. There are thousands of refinement engine blueprints on the from A to D grade for free on the web. The most difficult problem is constructing them inside our heart. My parents chose to C grade refinement engine, and constructing it they really have to give it all effort. The better your refinement engine is, the more pure mana it will refine. The pre-constructed refinement engines about are all a grade, so most youth eagerly chose pre-constructed refinement engines, but there is a huge drawback using pre-constructed refinement engines. When your monster partner and you wanted to evolve to lieutenant grade, you have to remove all the external energies inside your body, i.e. the pre-constructed refinement engine also had the external energies of its creator, as it is not constructed by you. One has to remove the external energy of its maker from refinement engine. It takes years to remove energy of its maker, and some event won't able to do that, making them and their monsters always stranded master realm. But to most of the people, it didn't matter their hope to reach corporal or sergeant stage. They can only dream about master and lieutenant stage. She knows the monster she got from Crystal Knights has a very low talent despite having class 7th strains which have about 2% chance to reach lieutenant stage. The youths who were selected from a small town like us would have the lowest position in the organizations. They were given lowest talent monsters despite their high strain. They only recruit youths from a small town just to fill space and cannon fodder, as she is the one told me about this. Her parents had also joined the organization in their youth and only retired after making their contract term. Ellen is an ambitious girl. She doesn't want to be a filler or cannon fodder. Despite her monster having low talent, she wants to fill what she lacking in talent. She wants to fill it with hard work. Her greatest dream is to participate in League of Heroes, which happened every decade. The next League of Heroes is 5 years later, and minimum qualification it needs is master grade powerhouse. This will her only chance of participating it, as only those below 30 can participate in it. I also want to participate in League of Heroes. I was 11 years old when the League of Heroes happened. It was the same year we came to live in this town. The mayor had set up a big holographic projector in the town square. Everyone one town had come watch in such a big display. God, what fights they were, full of magic, different types of monsters. Trainers were even more amazing with their totems. It was a surreal experience. That moment I decided I want to be there, millions of people watching me and cheering for me. Not only I, millions of youth watching from their homes or stadium wanted to be them. It was nearly evening when only 20-something youths are remained to form a bond with their monster partner. One by one everyone name called out and only 5 people are only remaining. Soon, it will be our turn. Are you ready, Ashlyn? I asked her as I took her into my lap and patted her softly. Chuyu-chu, she cocked, saying yes. I also smiled. This is where both of our lives will be bound together. Michael, Mayor called out my name. I, like many others before going on a stage and stand on the platform, opposite of me is Ashlyn. I felt pain in the wrist and something inside me, as ever so small part of the break out of me. I think it is my soul. Many researchers have theorized that it is a tiny part of our soul would also break out during bonding ceremony. A drop of my blood, likely mix of soul, flies out of my wrist. Ashlyn's blood also floats out and both have started to merge. The merged blood again separates into 2 parts and started to float back toward and body. The drop of blood came closer to me and directly seeps into my temple. My vision blurred a little, but I see Ashlyn turned into the globe of energy and directly merged with me. I felt little hot all over my body for a while, then suddenly all of turned normal. The ceremony is over. Ashlyn will stay in my body for a day. My body will gain physical strength and higher sense, and most importantly, I will gain Ashlyn powers, which her silver fire. My body is rapidly changing, so is my soul connecting with Ashlyn, but I didn't feel a thing. Before leaving the stage, Mayor handed me a refinement mold. I went back to my seat. Ellen's name is called out as she is topper and the last candidate to perform blood ceremony. Ellen performed the bonding ceremony with her glass spider. As valedictorian, she gave an awe-inspiring speech. She openly talks about her aspiration to participate in the League of Heroes 5 years later, and we all should follow our dreams no matter how difficult it is. Clap, 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 clap. All youth stood from their seats and started to clap. They all feel motivated by her speech. Short-lived emotions they may feeling, but they all felt inspired because of speech. After the ceremony is over, all people started leaving. Best of luck both of you to your journey. I said to both Ron and Ellen as they were both leaving. Tomorrow, you too, Michael. They both. After hugging them goodbye, I left with my parents. Chapter 6 Preparation. I left the town square with my parents. Today had been the very exciting day. It was really an eye-opener, especially Kevin's 3-eyed demonic monkey. It was really enviable that boy like a Kevin got such an awesome beast. Mom, I am sleeping, I said to my mother. She nodded. This is normal. Sleeping after the ceremony, it is also advisable. The more relaxed your mind and body is, the faster your monster partner able to integrate its powers in you. I fell asleep as soon as my head touched the pillow. Chew, wake up. I woke up by sound. It's not much of sound but an emotion. I opened my eyes, little confused, as I felt like voice comes from my mind. Ah. Did you wake me up, Ashlyn? I asked in mind. I got an answer through emotions. Ashlyn and I had formed a telepathic link. Swa can easily sense her emotion telepathically. SSS, Chew. She came out of me and stand on my chest. I am clearly feeling her emotions. She is feeling little hungry and want to be petted. I petted her soft silver feather for some time. Thud. As I was about to get up from my bed, I fell on the floor hard. Ow, shit. I cursed as I remember. I am clearly stronger than yesterday due to integration. My physical strength doubled due to my bonding with Ashlyn and thinking of bonding. I look inside my heart where Mystery's space had formed. Inside it their large red cloud. I smiled loudly seeing that cloud. I excitedly tried to summon the silver fire which I got from them. First, there are small sparks but then it slowly turned into small fire, and soon it became fist size. Ha ha ha, I started to laugh seeing the fire. Really, I got Ashland's silver fire. I feel so happy looking at this fire. This fire is amazing. I was so enamored by it. Ashland, look. I asked Ashland to look at my hand in which a silver fire is burning, but she only gave me look from the then look away, not giving more than a moment of look. I laughed after seeing this. She hasn't changed a bit even after our bonding. I call back the silver fire as I had my fun. I don't know how I summoned the fire seeing I just got the powers today, but I somehow know, it is perks of bonding, you will be automatically proficient in your monster's powers. It took me little time to get used to my improved physical strength. I freshen up and walk toward the kitchen with Ashlyn over my shoulder as we are both feeling hungry. I slept about 24 hours and it is evening now. When I walk into the kitchen there was no one in the kitchen. I took out food for both me and Ashlyn. She was little unhappy out not getting special food yesterday. What she was eating now still grade 2 food, but it is plant-based and not monster's meat, which is way more expensive. Most of the people not able to afford graded food for their monsters eat what they ate. We are able to afford it because my parents are doctors, LV1 that they may be, they still able to give their mothers a good food. As we about to finish our food when my parents come back. Michael, how do you feel? My father asked. Very good and energetic. I replied as I was feeling really energetic. You will be constructing refining engine tonight, right? Asked my mother. Yes, I said, the best time for constructing the refining engine is within week of the bonding ceremony. I had been preparing for it for 3 months, the day I was completely sure that Ashlyn's going to be my monster partner. We have made all preparation for you. My father had stated, they had made all preparation for the things I will need during constructing refinement engine. It's not much preparation. It just IV which filled with the special solutions which will aid in the construction of refinement engine and also energized me so I won't faint in the process. The process usually takes 1 to 3 days depending upon the complexity of the blueprint of the refinement engine. Soon it was time. This will do, said my father as she fixed 4. I am sitting on my bed in lotus position as my mother connected to my wrist. Good luck, said mother as she kissed my temple, and they both left my room, closing the door behind. After they left, I projected 4D blueprint of refinement engine from my holographic watch. It is spherical in shape and completely made of gears and cogs on which runes are carved. It looked majestic and is shaped completely different from the regular refinement engine I've seen on the web. There are thousands of refinement engine on the web and certified sites for free, but they are all more or less the same. What they offer power of peak of strain, which for Ashlyn's species is for Sergeant stage but not her species bloodline limit. What strain is that? It is a clear map of evolution, to which stage monster can evolve with certain hard work, but it is not its limit. The limit of evolution or potential of evolution depends on monster's bloodline. This limit is called bloodline limit or bloodline shackle. One can unearth the monster's potential with extremely hard work, but to break out of the monster's bloodline limit is near impossible. Like Ashlyn has class 2 strain from which we can reach specialist stage with little hard work and time. Like my parents, Ash Spark Sparrows evolved to a specialist stage when my parents in their 30s, but to break out of the limit of the strain is going to be very difficult for us. What refinement engine does is it purifies the mana human and his monster partner absorb in his body. The monster and its human counterpart has limited space in a body to store mana, and that is what refinement engine does. The purer the mana is, the early the chances of monster evolving are. Chapter 7 Constructing Mana Refinement Engine. When constructing refinement engine, your monster partner have to be integrated into you. The refinement engine you construct will also be imprinted into your monster partner. In daily practice, monster and human have to be integrated into each other to refine mana. Ashlyn comes. I asked her. This time she didn't reveal her arrogant self. She turned into energy and integrated into me. This is the time to construct my refinement engine. I pick a glass jewelry box from my desk which Mayor had handed down to all students. I took out small marble from the box and ate it. It will take half an hour to dissolve it into the mold. I had to browse thousands of refinement engines on the web, but none of them fits my criteria. Ashlyn is a low-level monster whose strain is only class 2, which only take her to the private stage, not further than that. I wanted a refinement engine that could help break the bloodline strain and help Ashlyn to reach the natural limit of species. I did find one at last, but its concept was completely different than the refinement engine of today's. If given example, consider today's refinement engines are automatic like coffee machines that we use today. You just have to put coffee beans inside it and the coffee maker will process the beans and roast it and grind them, mix milk and sugar for you. In this process all you have to is add beans and click a simple button and coffee will be made for you in minutes. The refinement engine I chose is manual. You have to do all processing, grinding, and brewing all yourself. It is time consuming and tiring, but in this refinement engine, I have to do all by myself. The reason I chose this refinement engine is that it purifies my energy many times over than normal refinement engine that increases more 80% chances Ashlyn breaking through the bloodline strain. But there are many problems as well. More than 96% of those who chose this refinement engine never able break through past private stage. There are thousands of curses written on the site and also warnings not to construct this refinement engine. Because once construct the refinement engine you were hardly able to change into another engine unless you reach lieutenant stage. It very hard to construct another refinement engine. The highest one had reached using this refinement engine is at master stage. He said it very difficult to operate this refinement engine and need strong mental strength. I don't like to take the risks, but I don't want to be mediocre rest of my life. I have dreams. I want to fight in the League of Heroes and want millions of people to cheer for me. Inside my heart, there is a separate space is formed, it mainly called Mana World. I don't why. It's empty except in the center of it, is large cloud made of red smoke. If one looked carefully at a minute, some specks of smoke always merging inside it every second. Mana World is formed when I and Ashlyn bonded, and that large red cloud is mana, is a smoky form. Red colored mana is most impure and diluted mana out there. White color is a sign of most pure mana. They say in 12 stages of evolutions, the first stage has gas state mana and in the 12th stage is solid state mana, but from what I have read most of the people who reached 12th stage have semi-solid state mana. Those who able have the semi-solid state mana are the exceptional people. Most of the people who reach 12th stage have liquid state mana, almost no one able to confidence solid state form mana. My refinement engine claimed to make solid state mana if one reached the 12th stage, but no one believes it, because to make solid state mana one's mana has to be exceptionally pure. The refinement engines are divided into the 4 categories, A, B, C, D, according to how many parts it has, while D-grade refinement engines being lowest has 100 to 200 parts, C-grade refinement engine has 400 to 500 parts, B-grade refinement engine has 800 to 1000 parts, and A-grade refinement engine has 1700 2000, but the refinement engine I selected has 5692 parts. It must be due to my refinement engine being manual, not automatic. It took me nearly 3 months of day and night studying to understand fully. I have memorized each and every part of refinement engine, and I even practice constructing on the app. I have complete confidence in myself to construct refinement engine in one go. The mold had entered the mana world. It had turned light purple from black. It looked like a big blob of molten steel. Now what I have to do is to take a little mold from that blob and create the part of refinement engine with the same dimensions mentioned in the blueprint with the same runes carved on it. After creating all the parts from the mold is assembly, assembling all parts in refinement engine. I started to create parts of refinement engine. It is a very lengthy process to create more than 5,000 parts. The engine parts consisted of cogs and gears, pipes, bots, etc. They are small but numerous. It was extremely difficult to memorize different dimensions of all parts. The plus point is that I have now had an easier time now than practices earlier. After forming a bond with not only I gain magic power and physical strength, my psych powers are also increased. Now I can easily remember and memorize the thing. Time passes on as I am creating parts after parts of the refinement engine without the rest. It must have been next day when I finished making all the parts. I divided them into sections for inspecting them again. Every part has to be perfect with no fault. The change in parts dimension or rune could collapse the whole engine. Succeeding in the first try is the best because reconstructing is taken bitch of time than constructing it the first time. I felt tired after inspecting every part thrice. I inspected every angle, dimension, and the rune on each part. At first inspection, I come to across some mistake. At a second and third inspection I didn't find any mistakes that make me feel relief. Feeling refreshed I again went back to work. This is the part I am most confident in as I have practiced these steps hundreds of times on program. Assembling all parts to create refinement engine. I started assembling the engine. This process is complicated but fun. It feels like a big puzzle with over 5,000 parts. Connecting cogs and gears and various pipes to each other as a spheroid-like structure started to take a shape, but still there work to be done. Time passed on and I keep assembling one part after another. Click. I fixed the last bolt in the refinement engine as the construction of the refinement engine is finally completed. Chapter 8 Refining Mana. The whole spheroid construction of Mana refinement engine looks majestic. It gives off the purple dim light. The refinement engine had the feel of old-era steam machinery, not a feeling as it is a pure mechanical machinery with gears and cogs, nut, and bolts. It has some type of grace in it, which somehow describe the will of humanity and struggle it faced to survive in this monster-ridden the world. When I looked at this engine, only one thing come into mind is Supreme Combat Exercise. Supreme Combat Exercise is combat exercise which is known to first combat art humanity ever developed. It developed in the early days of humanity when humans were still struggling with monsters for survival. It shows the spirit of humanity. I think this exercise somehow inspired the inventor of this refinement engine, and it is also one of 3 advice given by the inventor is to practice Supreme Combat Exercise in future if possible. It will be a big help in operating the refinement engine. Now the most important step of all, this is a step where all those 96% of people who tried this Mana refinement engine had failed. What I have to do now is that to take refinement engine inside the Mana cloud and suck all cloud inside the engine. All that I have to do in one go without any break, because if I failed this process going to be twice harder at next attempt. I decided to sleep to refresh my mind as I am feeling really tired from creating and the process of refinement engine. I fell asleep as soon as my head, I didn't glance at 4 which is connected to my hand. It was late midnight when I woke. I must have slept about 6 hours. When I slept earlier sun was about to go down. I removed the 4 from my head as it was empty. Feeling refreshed, I sit on the meditating position and close my eyes. As I look, there is no noticeable change in the red cloud. The size of Mana cloud in depending upon the talent of the person, which in my case is low grade. The talent of your first monster's going to be your talent for the rest of your life. You can't change that ever. That is why the first monster is so important. Talents are divided into 3 types: low grade, medium grade, and high grade. Ashlyn has low grade talent, that is why her mana absorption is slow and mana cloud is small. If Ashlyn's talent had been medium grade, that cloud would have been 50% bigger, and her talent had been high grade, it would have been 100% bigger, the size of mana cloud that I have. Most of Grey Spark Sparrow, as one of most common monster species in the world, rarely had any talent except for low grade. Refinement engines lessen some gaps between talent, and my refinement engine states that if I am able to obtain the highest level of purity scale in each grade, I can also consider equal to those who have high grade talent. But it is very difficult to obtain the highest purity mana in each grade. From the comments I've read on site, the maximum purity one able reach is 78% in purity scale. He is also the same evolver who reached the master grade using this mana refinement engine. The purity scale easily could be seen on refinement engine. It has 1% to 100% scale and looked like old era thermometer. Taking a deep breath, I move refinement engine towards their red cloud of mana. The mana cloud is more than 10 times bigger than the refinement engine. As refinement engine spheroid entered the cloud, it became barely visible. Sometime later it can't be seen in a cloud of mana, the mana cloud enveloped it inside. After making sure it reached the center of the mana cloud, I stopped its movement. Now is the most important step. I have to take all mana cloud inside the refinement engine. This will be the biggest test of my mental fortitude. I started to operate refinement engine as it started sucking mana cloud inside slowly. This process is very complicated. I have to operate 3 processes of the refinement engine simultaneously without making any mistakes. First is the suction process to attract mana into the engine, next is the refinement process which refines the mana and removes impurities from it, and last is what take most of my mental power, condensation processes. What condensation process does, as its name suggested, it condenses the refined mana in the condenser, and the condensed mana is stored in a central container which is 1/3 in size in refinement engine. I can clearly feel the cloud getting smaller, but still, its speed is little slow. I operate the refinement engine neither slow nor fast, it is a perfect speed which will not waste my mental power excessively. I derived this from the thousands of comments and curses I read of predecessors who have constructed the same refinement engine as me. If I operate engine too fast, it will drain my mental stamina early and I will not have a chance to recover my mental stamina in process, hence I will not able to complete the process. If I operate engine too slow, I will gain stamina in the process, but it will take too much time and I will be too tired to operate the engine. Time passed on and engine have sucked half of the mana cloud, but I am started to feel tired and there is still half of the mana cloud remains to be sucked. Still, I kept refining the mana cloud. I don't want to be like my predecessor who wasn't able to overcome this step and almost all of them left stranded on the private stage, very few able do it a second time. The spheroid engine is now little visible in the clouds as its outlines can be seen. As cloud begin to thin out, the engine becomes more and more visible. As the time passed, only 1/3 of the mana cloud remain and I am dead tired. Nearly all my mental energy had been drained as I operating refinement engine with my sheer will. The suction now can be clearly seen from the 13 suction points, the red smoke clearly seen flowing from the semi-transparent pipes toward the refinement chamber. The only thing kept me going is my imagination. I am imagining myself center stage of League of Heroes, winner trophy in my hand and millions of people cheering for me. That's the only imagination kept me going as refinement engine kept sucking the mana cloud, soon at about 5% of its original size remail, but I am really spent. I barely hanging by the thread, the sucking speed of the engine so slow that it is barely noticeable, the engine looked like it can stop any minute. The whole engine is dimmed that it looked malfunctioned, even thinking of my dream of League of Heroes didn't work. If it's going on as it is now, I am definitely going to fail and I don't have any confidence in succeeding in second chance. If my biggest dream isn't going to give me the will to fight on, then I am going to take it from my greatest nightmare. Chapter 9, 34% Purity. 5 years ago. Sirens. We were eating in the restaurant when sirens started blaring. Its highest level siren. Michael, Rose, let's go, my mother said, and we started to run toward the closest bunker. We have done this emergency exercise 3 times in the past 2 years. It's quite fun as I see a lot of my friends in the bunker and spend half a day there. My mother and my best friend Rose, who is also my secret crush, started running towards the closest bunkers, horns blaring and curses ringing out on the street. Some people didn't even listening to siren as they still looked carefree and going their way without a care for sirens, thinking this is another emergency exercise. Emergency exercise this may be, but they still have to follow the law, which states they have run towards bunker when they heard emergency sirens. If they caught not heeding, they will be heavily fined by the town. This is fun, right? I asked my friend Rose while running. Her face was full of fears. I didn't know, this may be a real alarm, not exercise, she said. Rose and I are neighbors and grew up together and are a best friend, but I also like her a lot. Rose has similar height to with cute face and rare light blue hair. When she grew up she will really become an absolute beauty. Don't worry children, this is just false alarm, said my mom, but we still run toward the bunker. my mother never takes chances in this type of thing, she once experienced monster horde in her youth, she knows what kind of destruction it brought. Repeat, this is not a false alarm, monster horde is 10 kilometers away, please hurry to the nearest bunker. Announcement heard. Everything is silent for a moment and then mayhem occurred. All the who weren't paid to heed or slightly paying heed started to run toward the bunker. There is no organization, people didn't care and started to use their get ahead. I even saw many people doing it. One brute used powers as he covered all his skin with rock and directly ran into the crowd. Many people got injured by this, but he didn't care and ran ahead. My mother kept both of her hands in a vice like a grip as she ran, taking both of us. Ah! I heard many shrieks and screams. When I looked back, I see a cloud of aerial monsters coming and diving toward the humans in the crowd. Shit, I heard my mother said, and she begins dragging us toward the bunker. On the way, I tried to contact my father, but there is no signal. Don't worry about your father, he is most safe. The hospital had a separate bunker, said my mother. I felt relieved after hearing that. Rose, you don't have to worry, there is bunker very near the bank, your parents will be fine, she said to Rose comfortingly. Holding back her tears, she nodded as she heard my mother saying, "Cha! Ah!" People reside, screamed as eagle-type monster dived down and break the man half and flew away with taking half his body. Blood started to flow from half a body, making earth red. No one had the luxury to wait, see monsters coming down and eating people. If aerial monster had come, it wouldn't be long that surface monsters will also come. The streets have become more chaotic as aerial monsters' attacks become fierce. If this monster horde was low level, the town would have fought back as it did in the past, but this horde is clearly on the different level. Thud, thud, earth started to vibrate. It is surface monsters that are coming. Hearing this sound, the chaos ascended on the stories. This time there was no hesitation could be seen on the people faces. To go front, some people even started to do anything. They started to use their monster and powers unhesitatingly. Some people got injured, some even got killed. This was my first time seeing the cruelty of survival as people started to kill their peers just get ahead. I started to see the silhouettes of the surface monster. Most ahead are the scarlet stallions and spiked cats. Move. Thud. Somebody just attacked from behind and fell on the corner. Thank God the attack was wind type. We just lightly injured, but his attack did throw us quite far. That bastard, cursed as we stand up and started to run again. Michael, language, admonished my mother. Cry. Suddenly a loud bird cry heard directly above us. A gigantic snow-white eagle monster come from above and grabbed Rose swiftly between its claws and flew away. Within a second it's all over. That soon became a white dot in the sky. I just stood shocked in a stupor. Slap Michael, let's go, my mother said as she slapped me and dragged me away. I didn't dare to imagine what will happen to Rose, but she is most likely dead, eaten by that eagle monster. We somehow managed to survive the horde, reaching bunker in time. My father was also survived by hiding in the hospital bunker. That monster horde killed 1/4 residents of our town. Rose's parents also not able to survive, even their bodies were not found. They were like taken or eaten away by the monsters like Rose and other townspeople. I was not able to sleep for months, daily having the nightmare of that day. Sometimes I even have dreams of Rose eaten alive by that eagle-type monster. Present day. Remembering that nightmarish day, I filled with fear and fighting spirit as I never able to feel that weak again. I could have me or my mother in place Rose. Just thinking this thought make want to stronger, strong enough that I could protect my parents from any harm. I operated the refinement engine with this newfound willpower. In minutes I completed absorption of the mana cloud. Gears moving. The gears started to move automatically and whole refinement engine is come alight with so blinding glow that I can't see anything except for bright purple globe. Brightness started to recede after some time, and when all brightness has receded, I saw refinement engine again, but there are some changes in it. The refinement engine's color got bright purple, but that's not the only change. The most amazing change can be seen on the mana scale. I was shocked seeing the purity of my mana. It is 34%, before refining my mana its purity should have been at 16%-17%, but it now doubled. It is now in the range of those who have medium level talent, because those have a purity of mana above 33.5% mana purity are considered in the range of medium level talent. I opened to see it is early morning. I am dead tired and I just wanted to sleep peacefully. Chapter 10 Supreme Combat Exercise. When I woke up it's already 3 in the afternoon. Ashlyn is still inside sleeping. Well, her body will take time to adjust to this new purity of mana. You can only refine mana when your monster is integrated, as you share same mana, so when you refine your mana you also refine your monster's mana as refinement engine also imprinted inside your monster. I freshen up and opened my door to see my parents sitting by the door. They looked to in sleep. They must have been waiting for me for 2 days. I did not disturb their sleep, just put the blanket on them. I walk in the kitchen to see any leftover food from the morning, but I didn't find any except for the cans of instant food. My eyes got misty seeing this. I know my parents didn't like instant food, but just to save time to guard my door they ate instant food. I started to make a meal. I learned how to make the simple meal as my parents many time have to do late shift in the hospital. I was humming a song and just about finished making my last dish when I heard a sound behind. Well, looking at how cheerfully you are making lunch, you must be successful constructing your mana refinement engine, said my mother. Yes, I was lucky, I said smilingly. Luck had nothing to do with me constructing my refinement engine, but I don't want to worry them going into whole details. You guys freshen up, lunch will be ready in 5, I said, started setting up the table as my parents left to freshen up. It was quite a good dinner. My parents talk about something and everything as the conversation was light. There only 5 days left before you leave, said my mom emotionally. I never left home except for the school trip outside the town into the forest. Mommy going to miss you, sobs, 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 she said, then started crying. I got little confused seeing this. My mother was emotions but never a crier, and she never cry this openly with sobs. This is mother's love, I guess, as I never been away from her before. Michael, we have something important to tell you, my father said in a serious tone. My father rarely spoke in a serious tone. Right, Evie, said my father to mom. Yes, we have something important to tell you, Michael, said my mother, as she wiped tears off her face. I got little scared hearing their serious tone, thinking some bad news, but looking at their faces I heaved a sigh of relief as their faces looked happy, so it must be some good news, but I don't understand why they have to be so serious. I am pregnant. You will have little brother or sister in 8 months, she said smiling. It is quite shocking news that. My parents never expressed a will to have a second child, but I guess it happens between adults, and my parents still in their late 30s. It's also a good thing having a baby will keep them occupied and they worry less about. That's good news, I said awkwardly. What other things you say to your mother about the pregnancy? Mom, Dad, have you practiced supreme combat exercise? I asked my parents to diffuse the awkwardness. Everybody tried to practice supreme combat exercise, but rarely anyone able to do one set of it though, he said. B. Supreme combat exercise has 24 moves of offense and defense. It also has a good side effect that it merge small amount of mana into each cell of the body, making it stronger, but from what I've read from the web that one had to endure inhuman amount pain to practice every move of that exercise, and pain only increase as you practice in it. Supreme combat exercise also know the creator of skills. If one able to practice it to high end, one could create very own skill. We both tried it, but we were not able to do more than 3 moves. That pain is just inhuman, said my mother, and shudder in thinking of that pain. Well, you should try as well. Every tried it at least one time when they are young, said my father, as he encouraged me to try. I will, I replied. They left the kitchen soon after. Choo-choo. Ashlyn comes out of me suddenly and asked for food. She is feeling hungry as I sensed her emotions. I'll give you your food, I said as I ruffled her feathers. I walked toward drawer and took out the pouch of her food. Chew, chew, chew. Ashlyn objected seeing this packet of regular food and demanded a special food which I promised her I will give it to her if she didn't attack Ellen's monster. I got little startled by her intelligence, before the ceremony her intelligence that of 1-year child, but now her intelligence clearly shows that of 2 years child. I took out special treat made of specialist stage monsters meat and put it on her plate. Ashlyn ate that with relish and finished it within minutes and laid in her stomach. I checked my social media for a few minutes. Ron and Ellen both left yesterday and even reached their cities as they posted some photos. I like and comment on their photos before logging out. I typed the Supreme Combat Exercise. I've never really actively searched for the Supreme Combat Exercise. There are millions of results are shown, but I chose the first link, which is a government site, which would have more detailed information about it. By reading all I was in immense awe. Some information I know as human developed it during their inception and the pain felt during practice and how it makes the body stronger and how after completing its 10 set how its power increases exponentially, only lower than skill. I didn't know that after completing its 30 sets its power the same as skill, and after completing 50 sets its power will be above that of normal skill. In practicing one's body defense and vitality also increased, but still even for all those benefits people didn't practice Supreme Combat Exercise. There are 3 main reasons for it. First is the most common in human pain they felt performing the exercise. The second reason is that humanity's advancement in many fields such as technology, magical artifacts, and alchemical elixir and medicine, with it they can easily get the similar effects as practicing Supreme Combat Exercise. And the third and most important reason that there is no danger to the survival. In inception human had to fight for their survival, but now there is no danger. Humans have carved out their safe heavens and there is a minimum danger to their survival in today's age. Chapter 11 Farewell. The 24 moves of Supreme Combat Exercise is not actually referred to the fighting moves but 24 different ways of mana circulation in the body. Just like human body have blood veins, it also has mana/magic veins, but one can manipulate mana easily. By manipulating mana certain ways produce certain effects. That is how Supreme Combat Exercise and skills come into being. Supreme Combat Exercise called the mother of skill because its 24 moves makes use of all magic veins, both active and inactive magic veins of the body. It makes one completely familiarize all magic veins inside the body. The higher you go practicing Supreme Combat Exercise, the more familiar one became with his magic veins, which in turn very important in creating a skill. The next point I read about this exercise made me most startled. It says after completing 10 set one's talent in mana abortion will upgrade upper low level. Completing 30 sets one's talent will upgrade to medium level. As more sets one done more one's talent will upgrade. Our body absorbs mana from the surrounding. The better one's talent is, more mana one's body able to absorb. After reading all of this my body filled with vigor and I walked toward the backyard. Chew. Ashlyn also came flying on my shoulder. The backyard is where I do my physical training. 2 full moons can see bathing the dark sky with their gentle light. It's one of the best time for practice. I took out my practice sword from the shed and activate the camera to record my progress of the exercise. I started swinging my sword in technique which I learned in the school and started to circulate the mana according to the first move. First, I felt nothing as I circulate the mana of the direction of the first move, but some time later I started to feel prickling pain all over my body. First, it is slow but then it comes with full force and it felt like there was hundreds of the needle are prickling me. It was so painful that I just want to stop the mana circulation and drop the sword. Enduring the pain, I persisted, but soon pain of 100 needles soon turned to pain 1,000 needles pricking me. I would have stopped if not for I am close to the completing first move. Gritting my teeth I kept practicing my sword and circulating mana as the first move directed. Every moment felt life hour as I kept enduring this pain. Ha! Sound got out of my mouth as I completed the first move. I threw the sword on the ground and sat on grass taking a deep breath. My clothes got drenched by sweat. It took me 10 minutes to get myself under control. No wonder people don't do this exercise despite its many benefits. I checked the recording of the practice, it's only 3 minutes and 27 seconds but it felt like hours. I tapped the play. After fully playing it, I tapped a few more buttons. I can't believe it. I said to myself. I played the scenes of my practice. I was quite startled, so I compare with my earlier practice I've done. My sword stroke 1.1 times faster than before, albeit sword was shaking but still 1.1 times faster. Normally after bonding ceremony, my speed would have increased between 0.5 to 1.0, even if I consider my speed increased to 0.8 after the ceremony, but there is still 0.3 left. That 0.3 is definitely increased when I am practicing supreme combat exercise. According to what I've read earlier, every move will enhance my speed by 0.3, and if I am able to complete one set, then my speed would increase more than 7 times. I laugh at myself thinking that even adults can complete 3 moves, and I am thinking of completing one set. To complete one circle of that exercise I had to grit my teeth and close my eyes, even my sword was shaking. I rested for some time and picked me a sword and started circulating mana according to the first move of the exercise. This time also I gritted teeth and closed eyes as I felt the immense pain, but I still endured and my sword was little less shaky than before. Like last time, I threw my sword and rested on the ground. Damn, this exercise is really painful. This time I barely able to open my eyes through the pain and my sword was little less shaky, but I still completed my first move. I practiced till late. My parents didn't disturb me, seeing how diligent I am training. By the time I am finished, I can perfectly circulate the first move of the exercise without closing my and sword shaking in my hand, though I still gritted my teeth to endure the pain. The main reason I am practicing this dreadful exercise to improve my talent in mana absorption. The rate of Ashlyn talent in mana absorbing is one worst in all monsters, even being mutated of her species. That didn't change anything. Her mana absorption talent still that gray spark sparrow. Her talent is so bad that the mana I've sucked from Mana Cloud is absorbed in the refinement engine could only fill up about 40% of its central storage. To fill it completely it will take about 2 days. I had started to feel itchy all over my body from all that sweat I got when I am doing exercise now had dried up. I directly went for the shower. After washing away dried sweat, it felt refreshing. I click a few buttons on my HoloWatch. I am checking the confirmation of my ticket as I will take the train to another city from the Carol City. I have to spend nearly all my saving on this trip and have enough which would last me a week. After checking my ticket is confirmed, I close the window. I sit in the meditating position and prepare to refine mana. There is no need to suck mana like before, as all mana which body absorbed will directly enter in the engine. Now I just have to refine it and compress it. I start to operate the refinement engine, purifying and compressing the which absorbed by the engine before. In an hour, I've finished refining all the mana I've absorbed. The central storage now filled 70%, now is the main task is to re-refine the mana which is stored into central storage to make more purified. Currently, the purity of my mana is at 34%, which is equal to that lowest category medium talent. If I want a level up to the second level of private stage I have to 40% mana purity. I started to re-refine mana from the central storage. It was a lot harder than purifying raw mana. In one round of refining I became so tired that barely able to finish the first round of refinement. Ashlyn comes out of me and slept within minutes on my chest. I tried to fall into sleep but it wouldn't take me. I decided to read new for a while. There is news about my favorite idol Elizabeth Collins. She was winner League of Heroes 15 years ago. She won the sweeping victory in League, crushing all her opponents. She left the Republic soon after that, and when she returned 4 years ago the whole Republic shocked by her progress. She had become Evolver, who evolved past the 12th Field Marshal stage into a brand new boundary. She had merged, complete integration, with her monster ivory eagle in the front whole capital. It is hers action figure I had in my room, on top of which Ashlyn liked to sit. I've seen that video hundreds of times before they took it out from the web. The ebony-colored wings sprouted from her back, her nails became sharper and crown of ebony-colored feathers manifested on her head. She looked really powerful in that form. She had come back to Republic for some work. The president has organized feast in her honor, and she even gave a lecture in the capital where the most talented young members of top organization and government had a chance to listen. I am so jealous of those bastards as they had a chance to see and listen to her beautiful voice. There many comments left those attendees saying how amazing her lecture was, how much they gained from it. Time passed by and it was the day I leave the town. In the past few I only ate, sleep, and practice. I didn't even take out single step out of my house. Seeing this, even my parent got little worried about my maniac training. I made quite a progress, but it was not as fast as I expected. I only able to perform 2 moves of the supreme combat exercises smoothly without shaking and closing my eyes. Quite funnily, I also able to do only 2 rounds mana refinement, but the result was not that great. I only able to increase the purity of my mana by mere points. Now my mana's purity is 34.8. Chapter 12 Accident. Did you packed everything? My mother asked. Yes, I said. Yes, Mom, I packed everything. I said to my mother as she was fussing over my clothes. My father came to the living room and handed me a palm-sized box. What is it? I asked. You opened it, he said back. Feeling curious, I opened the box. I gasped seeing the thing inside of the box. It is grade 1 magical artifact. It looked little damaged but seemed usable. I picked the hilt and inject my mana inside into it. A curved blade started to expand from the hilt. Soon it turned into 70 centimeters katana. I found it in our old town after Monster Horde left, he said. The owner of the sword must be dead or eaten by the monster. It is damaged, but it's still grade 1 magic artifact which is used by corporal level powerhouse. Despite being little damaged, it is still very useful for specialist level powerhouse. Normal grade 1 artifact cost about 50,000 union credit, and damaged artifact will easily sell to 30,000, which also yearly income of my family. Beep, I heard from my watch. It was a notification when I read. Father, don't, you guys need it more, and there is also a baby. I said. My father, I had transferred 10,000 credit to my account. Keep it, it was saving we did for you, we even spent some of it. My mother said apologetically. I again double-checked my backpack before locking it. All ready, I said to wear my backpack. Choo-choo, Ashlyn called out as her parents were coddling her. She somehow got out of their coddle and flew on my shoulder. Beep, let's go, the car is waiting, said father, as notification sounded on my father's hollow watch. My fathead and ordered car for the train station. The hover car already by the street, we all get in it. It started to speed toward the train station. It is AI, it didn't need a driver, you just voice command your destination. Not long after we reached the train station. The station is small and only 50-some people could be seen. Most of my classmates had left and not many stayed in the town. There are only 2 trains daily. Traveling alone is death wish, as all area out is filled with danger. Only those as corporal stage can travel along with their monster, even they also bear some risks dying traveling alone. That how the dangerous the world is. Soon the train came. Train only stops for 10 minutes in town. Sobs. I'll miss you, said my mom. Remember to call every week, she said, wiping her tears. Yes, Mom, I said, and hugged my parents. Besides me, Ashlyn is also coddled by her parents. Ashlyn, let's go, I said. My voice saved her from her parents as she landed on my shoulder. I took my seat by the window and waved my parents goodbye. As the train started to accelerate, the figure of my parents became smaller and smaller till I can't see them anymore. As train speed past the town, it entered underground. All the train run underground, fearing an attack of monsters on the surface. The walls of underground tunnels are reinforced with super alloy, so there is little risk of monsters breaking past it and attacking the train. I will take 9 hours to reach Carol City. In between train will stop in another 4 stops. Seeing there is nothing to in the dark tunnel, I called back Ashlyn. Inside me started to purify my mana. In few days of absorbing, I completely filled the central storage of refinement engine. Now I only have to further re-refine that mana. There is a need to set a special position to operate the refining engine. I started to purify the mana by refining processes and compressing process. It took a little more than an hour before I finished 2 rounds of re-refining my mana. I got tired after 2 rounds. The lights are dim, half of the passengers either sleeping or doing something on their hollow watches. Sometime later Ashlyn also come out of me and started looking curiously at the passengers. Only some people had their monster out. As rule, no monster larger than the hand can stay on the train, so mostly young monsters fits that criteria. An announcement rang out from the train informing train will stop on the station at next stop. Soon the train stopped. Passengers got in and got out, and seat in front of me is filled by a cute young girl, same age as me, who is holding fire wolf cub, and the serious looking man who is wearing a black suit seemed to be with a young girl. This fire wolf looked different from the normal fire wolf. It has a distinguishable flame mark on its head which looked like a real fire. This wolf must be mutated or activated some high-level strain, and it giving off energy stronger than Ashlyn. It must be at LV.2 of private stage. That wolf started barking playfully at Ashlyn and trying his all to get out of that girl's hold. Fire. If you behave, I will give a treat later, she said, and smiled apologetically at me. I smiled back at her. Time passed by and I purify my mana one more time. I don't want to waste any time as there are only 5 years till League of Heroes and I want to participate in it. The 9-hour train ride is over as we reach the Carol City. It is big class 6 city which is famous among the mid-level adventurers. I told all my friends and the family that I am going to Carol City, but my real destination is West Blood City. West Blood City is class 9 city, same as a capital, and also the most dangerous city in the Republic. It is known as Adventurer's Paradise as it's situated in the most fertile part of the Republic. Forests surrounding it filled with both monsters and magical plants. 1/3 new adventurers always die in their first year in hands monsters and men. It is also a city which most attacked by monster horde every year, but it also a city which is most wealthy as it's surrounded by dangerous but fertile. Many adventurers go to West Blood City to hunt monster and get rich every year. I decided to wait 3 hours in the station. To pass the time I brought a snack for both myself and Ashlyn. The train came half an hour early and it will stay at half an hour. I walk towards the levitating train like rest of the people. According to my tickets, my seat at the rear end of the train. As I entered the train to find the box is very crowded, I brought the cheapest ticket I could find. I walk into crowds, sometimes even stepping on someone's toe to find my seat. The seats in the box are so small that it barely looked bigger than 5-year-old child seats. I somehow sat on seat sandwiched between 2 hulky middle-aged men. I barely able to move an inch as I sit sandwiched between them. Thank God I took Ashlyn inside me. Seeing her nature, she might have attacked some men here in anger. From the energies, I am sensing most of the men here seem to be in a private stage. This is the box of poor people, I suppose, as all people look here to be brute workers. The train started to speed up and soon it entered underground. It will take 2 days to reach the West Blood City. The boxcar is loud with all people shooting and taking. I even got little ruffled in it. I wanted to operate the refinement engine, but this is not a good time. Time passes on. It's been more that day. I am to the train to the West Bloodwood. I never going by the cheap ticket again. It was so tiring as I can't properly move my feet. Thud thud, I hear a faint sound like something hitting the train. Soon that noise increased. People started to look all direction as it coming from all over the train. Thudump, thudump, crash. The train is suddenly flipped over and crash. I started to pray at final movement before I lost consciousness due to shock. Chapter 13 Fight. When I woke up from my unconsciousness, I was on the train floor still sandwiched between bodies. A faint sounds of fighting could be heard from outside. I tried moving the body above me but it hardly budged. I craned my neck in limited space and activated torch from my watch to see. I was quite startled to find there are many bodies above. My shirt felt wet. When I touched it with my fingers it felt sticky. When looking at my fingers there is red substance sticking on it. Something down to me and I petrified. It was blood. In hurry, I checked breathing of man above me to find there was no breathing. he is dead and the body beside it. I tried to wriggle out of dead bodies, it felt suffocating to be trapped between dead bodies. After efforts half an hour to somehow got out a pile of bodies. After getting out I take a good look my train car to see, there is a big pile of human bodies and I likely tossed inside them thinking I am dead. I felt horrified, some bodies had peaceful expression while others looked in extreme pain, there must be 50-60 bodies on that pile. I averted my gaze from the bodies, to hear the sound of fights from outside, from the sound I am hearing there must be some big fight going on. See I hear a sound to see, 3 rats type monster eating the bodies, they are red nails rats a rat type monster who is famous for their sharp teeth and red nails and has class 7 strain. They usually found in large groups, they look to be LV1 private stage, same as Ashlyn. Ashlyn suddenly comes out of me, feeling movement all 3 rats looked at me and attacked directly. Ashlyn. Chew. She gave a long cry and started to throw her silver fireball at Acri rates, that gave me enough time to take out my grade 1 magical artifact and activate it. I attack with my sword, slice 1 rat directly sliced into 2 by my sword, even I got startled by that. I never fought with any real monster before, I only have experience fighting monsters that produce by stimulation. Still, there is one remain. Ashlyn already killed another rat with her fire, this last rat seemed to be in frenzy, barely dodging her fire. I come behind and sneakily attack it as it barely dodged Ashlyn's attack that it had no time to dodge. Slice it also cut into 2, let's go, Ashlyn. I said the Acri rat's monster had a strong sense of smell and they would go crazy, smelling their skins and attack in frenzy. The boxcar is upside down, I have to walk on dead bodies to reach the door and when I got out of the train, what greet is the heavy sense of smell. The scene I saw left me with an awestruck expression, about 600-something men and their monsters are fighting thousands of residential nail rats the men seem to fighting in the organized manner. Powerful evolver must have taken control of the battle, it's not easy to control men you have never met before. The battle strategy also simple the powerful is fighting ahead and weaker are behind. Some 50-60 people resting and eating monster meat before going back to fight, many dead bodies of both humans and rats club, I about go back into train fearing to get dragged into the battle when I heard should. Kid why are you just standing there like idiot come and fight, shouted a scary looking man who is fighting left and right with the monsters. I gritted my teeth walk toward the battle if don't go. The man will likely kill me for being coward, in this type life and death battles no cowardness is tolerated, I have read many news people got killed for running from battle. The train tunnel is large with 5 super magnetic tracks, so there is large space to fight. I and Ashlyn joined and started to fight, are you hiding in the train till now, asked the boy who was fighting monsters beside me and looked to be in same age as me. No, when I wake up, I was in pile of bodies and when I got out it, I find all you are fighting here. I said, he nodded as if he understood. The boy beside me is same as me and holding grade 1 weapon. He is wearing a white uniform which had a design alchemical flask on his chest, it is a sign of Rothschild Alchemical, its organization which is especially known for their alchemical positions. His monster is quite unique, it is palm-size snake dark as night. Whoever that snake attacked the monster end up dead, the snake monster power must be poison related. The fight is quite relaxed, we just have to kill LV.1 private stage monster who came to us, I asked Ashlyn to use her mana sparingly in case of unexpected emergencies. How come fight is so organized? I asked I have my suspicion but I still wanted to know, it was all due to efforts of Sir Black. When the monsters attacked he organized a battle formation and he killed all the cowards who had an objection. He said with a shudder, fear clearly written on his face whoever that Mr. Black is. I can't see the fights off the front just silhouettes monsters and men fighting, Mr. Black must be one of them. This is good, it giving me the experience to fight the real monsters. Ashlyn now and then ate the hearts of monsters. She didn't usually LV.1 monsters meat but the heart is tasty, I guess. She first cooks it with her fire then ate it as she did not like eating raw meat. I wanted to fight using supreme combat exercise but these monster are too weak that even Ashlyn same level as them attacking half-heartedly. The real fight is going on in front where stronger monsters are fighting but it is too risky for small private stage cultivators to go in front. When our reinforcement is coming? I asked the Jim as he told me earlier, he came from a big organization and seemed to know many things. It will take more than a day. I startled hearing that. I thought it will take 5 to 6 hours. There is monster horde attacking the West Blood City. So, the reinforcement probably came from the capital. He said, his expression also turned grave in the thought of reinforcement. Currently, we are fighting in a stalemate with the monsters. If some unexpected happens we could all probably die. There is no fixed outcome when it comes to the monster. If in the form Mr. Black able to kill that giant rat then it could all end in an hour but from the next to it is highly unlikely. He said that Mr. Black is lieutenant grade powerhouse who holding back Captain Stage Acri Rat. There are higher chances of Mr. Black being defeated than the monster. An hour passed by as we talked and swung the sword to kill the monster that came. It is a quite relaxed fight but the situation suddenly changed by the heart-churning cry. Ah. Chapter 14 Half Skill. Ahoy. A loud cry rang out. We looked to see there is a big hole opened near the center of the battlefield and the monsters started to pouring out from the hole. The unlucky man got eaten alive by the monsters. Ah! Another cry rang out from a different part of the battlefield. Holes started to open from the ground and monsters started pouring in. Soon, a new hole opened near us and monsters started to come out of it. Fuck. I cursed as LV3 private monsters come to attack us. Clang, my sword barely able of injuring that monster, instead I got injured by the sharp nail on the leg. Ashlyn's fire also unable to do anything and panic building inside me as barely dodging monsters' attacks. I pour more mana into my sword and it covered in silver fire. Summoning fire drain more mana than operating magical artifact but it is also more lethal. Clang clang, I attacked but I countered with his claws. Ashlyn also attacked from behind by throwing a small fireball but it barely able to affect the monster. As I am attacking and dodging, my eyes landed on Jim's. His condition is not that better than me, he is also struggling to even injure the monster. Even his little snake who used to kill LV.1 monster at the bite but now its poison hardly seemed to work. Still, Jim seemed to be better condition than me. Clang clang clang, my sword and monster claws are countering each other, but I am still panicked as new holes are being opened by monsters. Shit. I said as another Leave 3 monster joined the fray that had put double pressure on us. Thank God Ashlyn is a bird. If she had been ground monster, she definitely got have injured. Ashlyn, don't get too close, just distract them from above, I said too. She got quite close to the monster and red nail rat monster tried to swipe his nails at her. We are fighting with distract and attack strategy and it's barely working as I am getting more and more injuries. Although they are not lethal, they are still the injuries. If they pile up, it could be life-threatening. Gurgle, thud, a woman in front of me got her neck sliced by the nail of the monster. She died choking in her own blood. This was a tragic sight to see but it is happening all around me. People are dying in front of me and monsters eating their flesh. It is a horrifying sight to see. The light around me brighten when I crane neck to what is happening. I see Jim's sword is glowing and bodies of Leave 3 rats sliced in two. Is it skill? I asked him. He is from a big organization, he had to be privy to some skills but I am little confused. From what I know, skills could be only used by corporal stage or above powerhouse. No, I can't use skill yet. What I using now is half skill, he said. I've read about half skills, the techniques which have 10%-20% might of the original skill they are based on. Seeing Jim using skill a bulb lighten in mind. Fuck, I am such an idiot. I cursed myself under breath and started circulating the first move of the supreme combat exercise. Soon the pain came but it is bearable. My attacks got a little bit faster but still, I wasn't able to keep two monsters at bay. Making my mind, I circulated the second move and more pain came, but with pain, my attack speed also increased. Clang clang clang, I started to counter with my attacks, preventing monsters further attacking me and keeping them at bay. Ashlyn and I coordinating during the fight, she detracts them and I attack. It was flawless coordination only possible by our shared bond. In the corner of my eye, I saw Jim took out a thumb-size bottle with red liquid in it and drank it with one chug. This must be mana potion he drank. They are the product of the alchemy and are quite expensive. The 4 bodies of monster could be seen in front of him as he used his half skill 2 times. From what I've read, the biggest drawback of half skills are their mana consumption, as they waste lot more mana. Only using it 2 times, Jim is nearly drained as he had to drink mana potion, but I have still 60% of my mana reserved. This isn't going anywhere when I think about the monsters in front of. Soon or later I will get tired and these monsters will finish me in second. Gritting my teeth, I circulated my mana to the direction of the third movement of the exercise. The pain came. I was about to close my eyes in pain, but I stopped myself somehow and controlled my shaky sword. If I was in the home, I wouldn't be able to handle this pain, but here in life and death battlefield I have to endure this pain to come out alive. There are many things I've left due, and most important, my unborn younger sibling. Thinking all those things, I endured the pain and started circulating fourth move of the exercise and endured the hellish pain that come with it. Slice, yes, I shouted when my sword hit the monster's fun, lightly injuring it in the process. This is the first time I injured it. These monsters are 2 levels higher than me and had higher strain than Ashlyn, making them way stronger than me and Ashlyn. It was quite good that I am able to injure it. Thinking fourth move will not be enough to heavily injure them, much less kill them, I circulated fifth and sixth move of them exercise in succession. I clenched my teeth so hard that even my gums started to hurt. Slick, tatata, my sword cut across monster's back, leaving a big wound. Feeling pain, it bared his teeth against me as both monsters started to attack me in frenzy. Bring it on! I also shouted. They are not the only one feeling pain. I am also in immense pain, but I am enduring it. If I didn't kill these monsters, they will kill me and eat in seconds. Another one of my attacks hit them. It wouldn't be long before I kill them. Jim is also seemed to struggling against the monsters, using his half skill time to time and chugging mana potions to supplement mana. It must be good to have a big organization as a backer. Having positions and skill available readily makes one envy then, but still, I wouldn't change the decision for all benefits of the world. When I looked at Ashlyn, I felt it's all worth it. Despite her fire is no use on monsters, she's still helping me distract them with her fire. If her talent was little higher or her mana purity above 50%, she could have easily able harm these monsters. The purer the mana is, more destructive power would become. It's like difference between kerosene and petrol. Oh no! I thought when I saw 2 more LV3 red nail rat monsters coming toward my directions, and soon my fear come true and they joined the fray, attacking me. 4 monsters beside me and started to attack me from all direction. Ashlyn looked at me worriedly and started attacking a monster with all her force, but it's no uses. Ah! I cried out as monster's red nail dug deep into the leg. The monster keeps injuring and one monster kept jumping to aim at my neck. I was barely able to dodge that. If this going on for another 10 minutes, I will surely will before these monsters dinner meat. Thinking this do or die situation, I started to circulate 7th, 8th, and 9 moves of exercise consecutively. I have stepped away from fainting due to pain and my gums started to bleed. I shout out with all my heart and attacked the monsters. Circulating 9th move, my speed grew exponentially and I started to attack monsters with madness. Tata, one monster jumped to attack my neck, but I attacked it in midair, cutting it into 2 pieces. Some of its blood even fell on my face. Seeing their kin dead, all 3 monsters started to attack me with madness. I also answered them with madness, killing another their kin, leaving behind only 2 monsters behind. Of the 2, one ID heavily injured earlier. I targeted that monster special after a short fight. I killed him as it was already injured. Now only remaining in one, seeing all his brother dead, it went into utter madness and directly jumped for my head. wanting it to pierce it with his nails. Come on. I shouted and attacked it horizontally with my sword. When my attack touched it directly, sliced from head to tail, dividing it into two from the center. Part 1 of the series ends here. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like and subscribe so we can be motivated to make even better videos in the future.